Sparkle has got to be one of my favorite characters in this game. And yo, this is going to be a different type of video because I should be working on the recap video at the time of this upload, but this is a new type of video that I've been thinking about for a while, and I can't think of a better time to roll this out than now. And this series is going to be called Nova's Instance, where I talk about a character that I really like that I never really get to talk about. And yes, I do talk about Sparkle often, I mean she is Elation after all, but not in the way that I'll be talking about her today. But before we go into all that, we just hit the 2K member milestone in the Discord, so you know that that means huge event next Friday where we are having a grand prize for one lucky winner where the individual gets to become me. Yes, we are holding our own Phantasmoon games in the Discord, and if you don't know what that means, you gotta be there to find out. Anyway, on to the video. Alright, so the one thing that inspired this video was Yao Guang's trailer, and the fact that Sparkle infiltrates trailers and loses every single fight. And we've seen this with Acheron, Firefly, Yao Guang, and Vita. Though this wasn't her trailer, she still lost the fight, so I'm counting that, along with the fact that she lost to herself in the 4.0 trailer and then again lost to herself in her own trailer, so Sparkle takes a lot of L's. But what I love about this is that this is true elation, because masked fools do not care about winning or losing. They enjoy the journey, or the fight in this case. Which is probably why Aha loves Akavili so much, but that's besides the point. Because winning is never the #1 priority of the Elation followers. They hate things that are guaranteed. So if Sparkle is stronger than someone, she would dumb down her strikes to make the fight more fun. And of course, if her opponent just wants to win, she will just lose and then not care. Sampo does this too, but he's more masochistic about it, but this ain't about him. Point is, this is a masked fool thing. We have seen Sparkle do so much as one-shot KO people like Robin, Firefly, and the Trailblazer. Heck, she even pulled out a domain expansion with Vita, but we'll get to that later. We know full well how strong she is, and if turned up to 10, she could be a match for the likes of the Stonehearts. And Hoyo has a very slick way of showing off how strong Sparkle is. Because Sparkle has the tendency to get the drop on characters that she has no business getting the drop on. For example, in the most recent trailer, Sparkle uses an exploding bullet to catch Yao Guang off guard, and actually lands a hit on her. Now, I want to explain just how insane of a feat this is, because she didn't just trick an Arbiter General, perhaps the wisest Arbiter General. She caught the Arbiter General with the ability to see the future enhanced by the power of Lon themselves off guard. A fusion of hunt and erudition power simultaneously. That's not normal. Yao Guang is clearly someone who cares about her appearance a lot. She spends the majority of her trailer holding a selfie stick, and she has been dodging every hit and everything this entire trailer. Not blocking, dodging, which is also great because peacocks are very vain in nature, but this means that Yao Guang was not intending on taking any type of damage or getting her hands dirty today. She even crashed her car, but despite being reckless, she got out with no damage taken. It's kinda her thing. She takes the most dangerous routes but always gets out unscathed. Rip Ting Yun, but she was not wearing a seatbelt. Yao Guang was, so is what it is, just something I noticed there. That's besides the point though. But Sparkle landed a hit leading to her getting some scuff marks on her face, and then she locked in, meaning that the rage bait was successful, and Sparkle's ability to be unpredictable is more than we thought it was. If she was catching Yao Guang off guard with literally anything else, I would just excuse this away, since Yao Guang of course doesn't divine everything in her life, but since she was portrayed here to be consumed by strutting her stuff for her debut, I can't say that she was intending on taking damage today, and went to great lengths to make sure that didn't happen. But Nova, Yao Guang wasn't trying, and this is just one example. But no, my dear viewer, this is not the only example, because Sparkle also exchanged blows with Vita from Honkai Impact 3rd, who is now in Star Rail, and she is now one of the strongest beings in Star Rail, and just one of her abilities is near omniscience. Yet this happened. Yes, Vita voluntarily stepped into Sparkle's domain expansion, but she is not on Vita's level. And Vita was sure to let her know that later in the fight. And you can just see the shock on Vita's face after getting hit. Another Peacock aesthetic lady who was not intending on getting smacked up. So this is not one, but two examples of Sparkle being able to fool people she has no business fooling. And quite honestly, I think Hoyo does these things on purpose. Whether it is to foreshadow a huge plot point down the road or just for the sake of showing off characters, I couldn't say. Both are equally plausible. Hoyo loves to leave their breadcrumbs, but then again, a character like Sparkle would just be a jobber just for the fun of it, which is insane because she could just die. But that is an element of control, isn't it? Sure, Elation is all about the lack of control, but in order to have true randomness, you need to be powerful enough to enforce said randomness. Because it's only human nature to seek an advantage, and cheaters are always abundant, especially in randomness and lottery dice rolling situations. And I think this is represented best by the fact that Aha is always in full control of this 1 minute of access a person who wins the Phantasmoon games has to their power, and reserves the right to always have the final interpretation of their wish. This is that element of control that the Elation always has. And how this is reflected in Sparkle is the fact that she fights far above her weight class and always comes out unscathed. Ever notice that? The first person she was messing with was Acheron, a person, an emanator, who could very well erase your existence, even in the dreamscape. She is the one person capable of killing someone for real in Penacony. The utter erasure of memories and plunging someone into the void is nothing to mess with, but for Sparkle, it is. Why is that? Is she stupid? She is a fool, but I would say no. Because even the concept of a jester is someone who has the power that no one else in the kingdom has access to. The fool is the only person in the entire castle who can speak unfiltered truth to the king. The fool can say heinous things disrespecting the crown, actions punishable by death, but because of laughter, he gets away with it. This concept is also mirrored today through comedians giving political takes veiled in satire and theatrics. But I want you to understand that this is also control, layered control. Because if you want to get rid of the fool, then what then? You look sensitive, everyone's mad, and you have no more entertainment. So the fool gets to say whatever it is that he wants to say, and this power has influence. Because a good joke can change opinions. One character I always like to bring up is Kamisato Ayaka from Genshin Impact. Now, she is a very deep character. She struggles with feeling trapped by her responsibilities and is shown to be more in tune with the hearts and desires of her people than her own Archon. But she feels distant because she feels like she can never truly leave and be a person. She is stuck in her land. She can't ever leave. She is a princess stuck in the castle, a bird in the cage. She is called the Shirasage Himegimi, or White Heron Princess, because of this fact. And the traveler representing someone who is free to go wherever they want infatuates her, so she is naturally drawn to the person who is what she wants for her own life. But you know what is the first thing you think of when you see her? Wet socks girl, big forehead. Ruined it. One joke. That's it. That is the power of Elation at work. In Honkai Star Rail characters, we even do this ourselves, with Xandar's very much understandable argument being diminished by people like me calling him the caveman, or Sunday's very much legitimate desire for a perfect dream world being rendered a joke by 2 words. Charmony Dove. Or even a very much heroic Aeon able to make the hard decisions being turned into a joke by me calling them the Aeon of Friendly Fire. That's Elation. This path is strong. So this is just another example of Elation being the true aspect of control in this story. We've seen it in Amphorius. Cypher was the only thing keeping the Dawn device working, and Sparkle herself drove the plot of Penacony. The Astral Express was fixed in the world of Elation. And remind me, what is the concept that is stopping Nous from finding the definitive future of the cosmos? The unknowable, randomness. Is this Aha's doing? Is this the true power ruler of the Elation? Does this mean that Aha is the puppet master of the cosmos, like we see Sparkle with the puppet strings and Yao Guang being manipulated by Aha as their unwilling puppet? I don't know, but Elation definitely has some strange connections to control, and I just can't get it out of my head. Because if this is the case and Aha is the one in control, that would mean that Aha is not a fickle Aeon at all. In fact, Aha will never give you up, let you down, or run around and desert you, because they are the one holding the universe together with their unhinged chaos. But in the end, only time will tell. So, what do you guys think of the new style? You guys like my other stream of consciousness style videos, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. Had to go back and record this because I forgot to add an outro for some reason. I plan to do videos like this randomly about characters like Dr. Ratio or Genty, or, you know, just random characters that I kind of find interesting that just kind of show up, because truthfully they aren't given enough attention and are too interesting to be left by the wayside. And how this all came about, I don't know. This is just my stream of consciousness musing because Sparkle fought Yao Guang, lost, and that tickles my brain. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.